learning new information tonight about the California-based group helping Mayor Ted Wheeler end unsanctioned camping in Portland and setting up sanctioned campsites to connect those experiencing homelessness to services. Fox 12's Adrian Thomas live in Old Town with more on this group. Adrian.
Well, Riel, the group is called Urban Alchemy, and it's a nonprofit based in San Francisco that helps people living on the streets transition out of homelessness. They're going to be running the first sanctioned campsite that will be set up in Southeast Portland, but some in the homeless services community here in Portland still have questions. During his Thursday news conference, the mayor said he wanted to pick a group with experience managing outdoor shelters like the sanctioned campsites he's trying to set up. According to Urban Alchemy's website, it was founded in 2018 and operates shelters and safe campsites in San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Austin, Texas. Staff joined the mayor Thursday and said they're eager to get started.
It's an opportunity to help people, to create a transition space, to help people stabilize and decompress from the hypervigilant state that they experience on the street.
Mayor Wheeler says he and other city commissioners visited Los Angeles and San Francisco to personally take a look at the sites operated by Urban Alchemy and felt they were most qualified to come to Portland. Staff will help those staying in the sites get connected to local services to move out of homelessness, as well as patrol the area 16 hours a day for safety and be available 24/7 should there be any problems.
We want this to feel unlike an institution. A big part of that is establishing trust, establishing autonomy, but also through conversations and patience and, just leveraging community, we're able to negotiate those things successfully.
But the director of Blanchet House, a nonprofit providing meals and other services day in and day out in Old Town to those on the streets, says he and other nonprofits are confused as to why an outside group is stepping in.
I'm not sure why we're in a position of outsourcing this to an organization that doesn't really know our community. What was the process? We have a lot of questions about these camps and about the expense and what we're going to get from these camps.
And Mayor Wheeler saying Thursday that first campsite in Southeast Portland is expected to open this summer. He'll announce the other campsites' locations and when they'll open at a future date. He's also saying Urban Alchemy has a good chance at operating the other campsites in the city as well. Live in Old Town, Adrian Thomas, Fox 12 Oregon.
Adrian, thank you.